This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Okay, so we can, before I open this up, George, is there anything, I was going to open it up to the public, and then move on to the two items for new business tonight?
Yes, I believe we have somebody here who wants to address issues with the commission at this time.
Okay.
Hello,
Mark?
this is Mark Cassis. Is okay if I start?
Yeah, Mark, go ahead.
I'm speaking as chair now of the Open Space Committee, and there's some projects we're working on that are important to coordinate with you folks since ultimately may fall back to your responsibility if they succeed. I don't know if people got the email that I sent through George. There's two properties. If it's okay, I'm going to start with one from the Trinseri family, which is up on Wolcott Road. There is a map that was distributed. I don't have easy ability to show that, but it is 40 acres next to existing town property of 50 acres up on the east side of Pomeroy Mountain. I think it's been called multiple things in Durrell's Path at one point, and this is a great mountain trails. And so it's isolated land. The family, the prior owner had passed away. We've spoken with two of the children. They are potentially willing to sell the property to the town for conservation purposes. Right now, if we did that, ultimately, obviously then Concom would be responsible for managing that, so to speak, under one scenario. So Kestrel has paid for a preliminary appraisal. The family has those numbers. It's actually, I might as well share that, $50,000. At this point, being respectful of not too much sharing of the information for families' purposes. And they're considering that. And if everything goes through, Kestrel said they would pay for a survey and actually purchase the land to be owned by the town of Southampton and protected under Chapter 97 rather than through a CR for simplicity. And that would have to come to one of the town meetings for a vote and be presented to the town meeting, I guess formally by the Conservation Commission. Before we proceed any further, we want to make sure this was consistent with what the Conservation Commission feels is appropriate. So if that's okay, we can stop there and then talk about the second property.
Okay, thank you. Before we go to the second property, did anybody on the commission have any questions on that piece of property? Okay, go ahead, Mark.
Well, I don't think we need necessarily a formal vote, but I would appreciate
Yeah.
the sense of the committee.
Yep.
The second one is more complicated. This is the Floric family, and it's the property next to Wolf Hill, between Wolf Hill and let me blank on the road. Good.
Alder Pond.
It's Alder Pond, and it's either 28 or 30 acres, depending on how we split this. And the family had wanted to develop some of the frontage on Fomer Road, and we had a discussion with them, and they said they're potentially willing to sell some of the back property and some of the front property to the town for conservation purposes. We again had Kestrel do a preliminary appraisal. We've given them numbers. They were not, and hoping to actually fold it into the Mountain Waters project, but the timeline became too tight to make that work because family needed more time to look at the appraisal. So if we're going to proceed and the family still wants to do this, probably the most likely way to pursue it would be a land grant application for the town, which Open Space Committee can draft, I guess, in the name of Concom. Just a reminder, the town probably would have to pay 40% match on that. The 60% would be from the state. That can potentially be from CPA money. Again, because it goes through CPA, would require a conservation restriction for the parcel. And I think we've had conversations with Kestrel. They're willing to help with some pieces of that. So again, wanted to be, assuming the family is still willing, wanted to make sure the Conservation Commission feels like this is appropriate parcel to protect and have responsibility for in the long run. Again, didn't want to go too far and then find out they didn't feel it was appropriate. And glad to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you, Mark. So on that, yeah, just one question on the Fulmer Road
Parcel.
parcel. Yeah, is it how many lots?
Well, again, so they've already pulled one out for builder and daughter. They're holding another for son. They pulled 2 lots out of 61A recently, and that's what started our discussion with the family. So one appraisal is for them holding on to those 4 lots, and the 2 lots would be purchased by the town with the backland and the land adjacent to a alder pond. The other, maybe a third, one of those other lots would also be purchased by the town, and that would be sort of a more contiguous piece, but a little higher price tag.
Got it. Okay.
And
Thank you.
partly is, can we come up with the money and what the
Right.
family is willing to do?
Okay.
But it's, you know, it's in a range that, again, we're not sure if they're going to be willing to accept the appraisal value, but it's a range that's potentially in the 260 to 390 range is what the first appraisal was, which means the town would have to come up with 40% of that if we do a land grant. Land grant cycle starts in July, or has to be submitted by July, excuse me.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Okay, well, thank you for bringing both of those up.
And just again, just the sense of the committee is that it's worth pursuing, that those are properties that the committee would want to hold as conservation properties.
I think that was the consensus the last time we talked about this. Since this is just part of the public hearing and not a formal portion of the, you know, a hearing, a public hearing, I guess, and me being relatively new here, George, what's the process?
Well, the process would be that I think that I will generate an email to Mark saying it was the consensus of opinion that we should continue to proceed on the purchase of these properties.
Okay.
And Bridget likely has a meeting conflict tonight, but she's going to try and come in for the latter part of this meeting. It's on the agenda, and give the commission update and see if they have any questions.
And she has been part of our working with these families.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is not brand new,
Okay.
so to speak. The commission's been exposed to it before and have basically said, yes, let's go forward. And we're just reiterating that tonight to Mark.
And part of it, one of the families wanted to know for sure that the town was ready to go for this.
You'll get an email tomorrow.
Thank you.
Right.
Appreciate it.
Great. Okay, thank you, Mark. Thanks, George.
You're welcome.
All right, I think unless there's anybody else.
Yes,
that wants-
Mr. Chair.
Okay.
Stephen
ahead.
Johnson, thank you. I've been working with the land planners on the Zero College Highway town acquisition that is to include public safety building, senior center, and greenway access. I'm very pleased to say that the Open Space Committee, with full support of the Concom, provided the very first statement of interest in the Zero College Highway property, because 6 to 9 to 11 acres that lie between the Greenway and the Manhan River are wetland, some part of it floodplain, sandwiched between 2 APRs, and are obviously, and thank you for your statement to this effect, clearly uh, intended or designed or suitable for conservation, and with all kinds of beneficial attributes from flood management, flood storage, wetlands for all of their various values, plus a wonderful buffer along the greenway. Okay, so as we move ahead looking at scenarios for land planning with our professional planners and Pioneer Valley Planning Commission, we're looking forward to the next big public engagement event, tentatively scheduled for May. God, could it be May 31st? My calendar just flipped out. Saturday, May 31st at Norris School, to be confirmed. The question on the table is, Mr. Chair, my colleague on the Select Board, my colleague on the Open Space Committee, would you be available and willing to participate in co-facilitating or helping to present and organize that, including a focused discussion on conservation?
Yeah, and that date you said was the 31st of May?
To be confirmed, town administrators checking with the school, Norris School, 10 a.m. on a Saturday, 10 to
Okay.
noon, couple hours.
Okay. Yeah, pending the date, that should be doable. So once you have a confirmed date, or once you have a couple of dates, after working with Norris, please, yeah, please let me know. I have I will be traveling the week after that. But yes, I would be
Right.
open.
This is evolving hour by hour, and you, I think, are the first to be recruited. So I
Okay.
will relay your willingness and keep you posted on how that comes together.
Okay.
I'm sorry about being invisible. I have a very shaky internet connection.
It's all good. We heard you well, so that worked out. And yeah, please just keep me in the loop on those dates.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Anyone else that wants to speak during the public portion of this meeting?
Well, I'll speak up. Diana Fetterman from
Okay.
the Open Space Committee, and just wanted to make sure that the Conservation Commission was aware that about the Zipta property and the ongoing discussions, whether the town is interested in that or not. The realtor came to the Open Space Committee April 23rd, I think, to try to gauge the interest, and the water commissioners are involved as well. But so right now we're hoping that, it will be able to be conserved, but it seems up in the air.
Can I add
Okay.
a note on that property? Because just historically, Marla, she was the chair a while back, and when the Zipcha property was turned into conservation land, and she always told me that if there was this carve out where for the on road frontage on Glendale Road, and she said if it ever becomes available, we should try to get it as part of the Zipta conservation area because two reasons. One, it's where that access road is, which is very important for people
Yes.
using it, as well as I guess if there's any emergency vehicle access needed, and also the farming vehicles as well. Um, and yes, that was something she always mentioned to me. And the other reason she thought that it was important to protect is that it's near the well, our town well. So that's probably where water
Yes.
supply protection comes into play. So
Yes.
So-
Can I provide some clarification? I spoke with Scott, Town Administrator, about this property, and he wants to work with the Water Department first because he thinks it's most appropriate for wellhead protection, and then would come back to open space if that doesn't work out, or to Concom.
I would
I guess-
second or third that as the candidate for the water commissioners, and very interested in conserving our water resources in town. So I think that that's a very reasonable approach. Whether it is of interest to the sellers, it's hard to gauge because the round of grants for groundwater or
Well, from speaking with the
water
realtor,
supply protection grants would be in the fall, and I can communicate with the realtor what the contingencies are about timing and due diligence.
all
And
she's
I
asking
think there
for
is
is an
consensus.
appraisal. She's very interested in working with this, and so are the sellers, but they are interested in an appraisal. And I guess I can't understand why that should take so long. It's not that expensive, and you know, if they had an appraisal which gave them some encouragement, then, you know, we might be in good shape. But nothing seems to be happening.
Okay. No, it's only been a week since they were at the Open Space Committee. So
No,
anyway,
it's going on 3 weeks. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing this up. Is there anything that you need from the Conservation Commission right now?
I don't know what role you would have to play in it and, you know, communicate, I guess, with the water commissioners. I don't know when they even have a meeting coming up, but I guess the town administrator could be involved too in deciding, you know, whether the select board or whomever could authorize at least an appraisal and sort of, you know, keep things, because there's a lot of interest in the property. There always is by buyers. And, you know, if we are interested, as Dan said, Marla had urged us to be years ago, I don't think we can drag our feet.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, be happy to take this offline with Mark and Dan and whomever else has a real interest in and Diana, the first and foremost, Scott, to see how we can responsibly respond to the sellers.
That would be great.
Can-
Thank you.
Can I interrupt briefly? I got an email from Bridget Likely. She says she's in the waiting room and
Oh,
wants to be let in.
there's a random phone number, so I didn't want to let them in because I was
I
afraid
think
we were-
that's Bridget
Okay.
Likely. So thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diana. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to bring up during this open portion of the meeting? Okay. Great. So let's move on to the public hearing portion. So there's two pieces of new business on the agenda tonight. The first is an RDA regarding 318 College Highway, and the second is a NOI for 186 College Highway. So let's start with the RDA at 318 College Highway. John, are you on the call?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, great. Thanks, John. So George, I think this is, I have to read in the legal ad notice.
I shall. The Southampton Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on 5/5/25 for the following. A request for determination application for John Lombard for property maintenance in a wetlands jurisdictional area. The hearing will be held via Zoom and will begin at 6 p.m. The Zoom link, Southampton, Mass. at mytowngovernment.org, will be available 48 hours before the meeting. Copies of the application may be examined at the Conservation Commission office and/or the Town Clerk's office in the Southampton Town Hall, 210 College Highway.
Great. Thank you, George. All right, John. This one predates my tenure here on the commission, but do you want to present what you've done here or in the application?
Well, we just what I was asked to submit was what we're doing, which is basically just keeping the property up, keeping the water flowing towards the DOT drains that are there, and then clean up the brush and the invasive stuff and all that. And then, as I outlined in the letter, I don't know if there's specific questions or.
No, well, I think a lot of this comes down to that there's some, I mean, it is an intermittent or seasonal stream that runs through the property, right?
I believe so, yes. I don't know that there's an actual determination, but.
Okay. I believe, George, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it is. And so there's a handful of stipulations that have been recommended with work that takes place within that. So I think George has outlined those. Is a apologies, I'm just reading these in the sheet. George, positive number 3 and a positive number 5.
Yes, my initial recommendation is a positive number 5, which will require a filing of a notice of intent. Should the commission decide that the activity proposed by the applicant does not rise to the level of a notice of intent, I request a negative number 3 and a positive 5 with the following stipulations as outlined in my agent's report.
Okay.
I would like to also, Mr. Chairman, state for the record that this has been pending over a year. And the commission did instruct the applicant in December 24 to file the RDA, and the applicant agreed that he would do that. We now have that RDA finally in front of the commission, and I think the commission should really take a look at what the applicant proposed to do in his maintenance schedule, which was I forwarded to the commission.
Yep. Yeah, and I saw that, and thank you, George. I had hoped to get out to look at that prior to this call, but got held up at work at the end of the day today, so I was unable to. If I don't want to, I know this has been a year-long conversation at this point, and I hate to keep postponing, but I do think taking a look at that would make the most sense, as you had stated, George. If it's so, the other commission members, I'd like to postpone this until I can do a site visit.
Should we schedule a group site visit such that we attend together, get it scheduled, get it crossed off the list, so we're not waiting another year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see the site yet either. I don't know, Nicole, if you have it or not. Okay. That
Yeah,
would be fair.
we can we can definitely go, if four of us are there, then I believe it's considered a public meeting. So, but yeah, we can, I think at this point, we just need to vote on to postpone the, postpone this until we can do that site visit, and then we can schedule that offline.
Mr. Chairman, if I
Yes.
may suggest, just in the issue of logistics, the commission obviously can vote to postpone or continue the hearing till the 19th. And it may be easier for the members to go out individually. Just notify the applicant when you'd like to go out if he would or she would like to be there when you're there. I can go out with the members if it's during, Monday, Tuesday, or Thursday mornings. But that avoids the complications of actually having a meeting.
Okay.
And one of the biggest problems is obviously if you do have a quorum present, you can't deliberate. That's under the open meeting law. And it would also mean that communication between the members and the applicant, you really should avoid a dialogue at that point if you have a quorum.
I kind of look at it the other way. Like we were a lot better actually having site visits and making sure we checking on things when we scheduled to like get together on a Saturday and go to one of the sites. So I kind of think like it's one of the reasons why we're kind of struggling a little bit in terms of performing the site visits is we're just not doing it as a
Dan's
group.
point is very well taken. And should the commission, they can continue the hearing until, I'm just picking a date and time here, till Saturday, May 10th at 10 a.m. And then also vote to continue it again to May 19th in the regular meeting. And then if the applicant is aware the commission will be out there Saturday morning, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4 members show up, it's still good. You just have to continue it to a date and time certain.
Okay. Okay. And Dan, yeah, that's a solid point. I guess just to keep this meeting moving forward this time around, I think following or postponing this to the next meeting.
Excuse me, Evan, wording becomes important. Don't postpone it. You're continuing the hearing.
Continuing to the 19th, yes. Yes. Continuing this to the 19th gives us a little bit of time to organize and get out there.
Evan,
So
can I say something?
Yeah, John, go
So
ahead.
so I understand, the document that's, I guess, was labeled standard conditions, DEP hashtag 289-XXX. When I read that, that's what's being proposed for the conditions. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. And it's a very small thing, but if we could correct the spelling of my last name throughout the document. It's the A and R is flipped.
Oh, apologies. Yes. Yep.
And then, so continuing to the 19th is when you're doing the site visit, or you're going to do the site visit individually prior to the 19th?
Site visit individually, and then the 19th is I think that's the date that I believe our next Conservation Commission meeting is. So that's another one of the 6 p.m. at the 19th.
Okay.
So.
So, now that we're agreeing on going individually, George, do we have John's email address so we could like let him know that we're checking out the property?
Just a second.
Yes, it's in the.
It's in there.
John,
Okay.
can you give the commission your email address, please?
Yeah,
John?
yep. It's just my name.
Okay.
Jon. Yeah,
Let
you
me
want to be
go.
all right?
I'll see if it's in my email already. Okay. Is there like certain, sorry, John, are there certain like days or times that you prefer, you know, or I mean, within reasonable like daylight hours is probably what you get from us, but
Yeah, no, I'm fine with, during the week. If it's on the weekends, I just want to make sure that if I'm not home, the other
yeah,
the kids aren't going to freak
yeah.
out like there's people going through the yards, just to give them a heads up. But
Okay.
we'll be flexible.
Okay. Yeah, and we'll shoot you an email. Thanks.
Great. Okay, thank you. Does somebody want to make a motion to continue this to the 19th?
Mr. Chair, if you've had all the questions from the commission and would entertain a public comment, I would offer one.
Yes,
Mr. Chairman,
I believe, yes, George.
if you have the option of taking public comment or holding public comment until the continued hearing.
Okay,
But once there's a motion on the floor, it has to be acted upon before you can
I don't
do
think there
anything.
is a motion.
there's no motion yet.
Okay,
Um, okay, yes, Stephen, by all means, please.
First, I want to appreciate and recognize that the commission is rebuilding, restaffing, and looking to do more or to be more engaged with site visit. That is all to the good. Acknowledging that the chair is new and the committee is rebuilding, this is nonetheless a long-standing issue of maintaining a residential property. As a former conservation commissioner in the town of Lincoln, Massachusetts, I want you to do your statutory duty. And I also ask you to be reasonable in the application of the regulations with the residential landowner. And I offer that in my individual capacity, not as an elected member of the municipal body or in any other respect, for your consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Well said, and I appreciate that. Yeah, and I think that's just to quickly respond to that. That is why I'd like to, and I'd like to get out and just take a quick look at the site myself, and again had hoped to get out there today, but was unable to do so. So, but once we get out there, yes, we'll be fair and equitable. So, thank you.
All right. I would like to make a motion that we continue the hearing until the 19th. Right? 19th.
I'll second that.
May 19th, sorry. I had to find the calendar.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Thank you, Dan, for that, and Kathleen for that. So members, all in favor? Dan,
Aye.
Kathleen,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
and myself, Evan, aye. Okay. John, thank you. Appreciate your time. Next for new business was an NOI for 186 College Highway. Is someone,
Here, I'll read the legal notice.
thank you.
The Southampton Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on 5/5/25 for the following. A notice of intent application for Heen, 186 College Highway, to stabilize the ground in the rear of the structure to prevent further movement of the house foundation. The hearing will be held via Zoom and will begin at 6 p.m. The Zoom link, Southampton, Mass. at mytowngovernment.org, will be available 48 hours before the meeting. Copies of the application may be examined at the Conservation Office and/or the Town Clerk's Office in the Southampton Town Hall, 210 College Highway, Southampton, Mass.
Thank you, George.
Mhm.
Okay, is someone on the call to talk?
Myself,
Okay.
Nicole Heen.
Hi, hey Nicole,
Hi.
how are you?
Good. I apologize if I'm difficult to understand. I'm congested. I'm going through getting over a little bit of a sickness, so I apologize. If you need clarification, just please ask.
Gotcha.
So I submitted an NOI for 186 College Highway. I share the home with my husband and our two children. We purchased the home from the builder in 2017. The home is constructed on a steep slope, and within a few years that we've been living here, we noticed that there was some cracking within the building on our walls. And then we happened to notice that we had some leakage inside our basement. We were able to locate the crack. And when we observed on the outside, we noticed that there was a crack in the foundation in the middle of the house. Subsequently, we went over to the other side of the house and noticed there's a crack as well located in the middle of the building, which indicates to us that half the house is starting to pull down. There is noticeable erosion on the hillside. There's not much in terms of vegetation other than grass on a majority of it. On one side where our garage is built, there's probably maybe 2 feet before it drops down maybe 8 feet. And that's where we're seeing a lot of significant erosion. So we contacted somebody to take a look at our foundation to fix it, but they told us that in order to fix it, we would have to stop the main problem, and the main problem is erosion. So they suggested we contact a structural engineer. So we sought out 2 different opinions. And once we were able to find a contractor, which ended up being RJM Landscaping, because they're familiar with this type of structural wall that requires integrity to hold up, such as a building. So what we ended up doing is we agreed that because it involves a house and because I am on wetland, that I would get surveying done, which was done through Levesque. They initially just did the partial existing conditions plan, but then 3 months later, I requested that they also do a wetland delineation, so that way we could make sure that we knew what buffers we were working within to maintain what vegetation there is out there. We respect that it's wetland. We cohabitat with it, obviously. The contractor that we are using, RJM, because we are located on the main street and the project is located down a steep hill, it's hard to get down there. We have our leach field and our septic tank that are located in an area where it would make sense to come down off of High Street. But in doing so, that would compromise not only our leach fields and our septic tank, but that would also cause great devastation to the vegetation that's over there. So I nixed that and said our best option would be going down off of College Highway. I'd have to remove some trees, but those trees are already dead. They're falling apart. There's no bark left on them. The half of them don't even have leaves. So we would remove those. One, that's also safety for any pedestrians that are on the crosswalk, but that also allows access way for them to get down the steep hill to be able to construct the project, limiting how much they're actually accessing the buffer zones. And that also, I explained to the contractor, it allows for the staging of the materials to be at a different elevation than where the wetlands are. So that way we can limit any of the, anything that would basically disrupt what's already happening down there. So I had the structural engineer come up with the vertiblock system. The vertiblock system is large blocks that are hollowed out that would stack upon one another, and they're filled with 3/4 inch gravel. I found out how much we would need for gravel in terms of tonnage, which is, I believe we have 69 tons of drainage stone that would be stored at the top of my property, along with most of the vertiblocks, which are actually light in weight compared to some of the other materials that they were looking at. And with that design system, it also slows down the velocity of the drainage that would go down the hill. So that way it's taking away some of the speed as to when it's starting to hit the soil and head towards the vegetation, the wetland vegetation. I do have existing drainage. I did inquire whether or not we would incorporate that into the vertiblock, but due to the vertiblock system, it wouldn't be included into it, but the drainage system would be diverted in different directions. I believe underground is what he was saying, as they are now, but a little bit further from the base of the hill where they currently are, which is causing some erosion. So I did provide in the NOI the 4 maps, one that does show the engineering from Coasset, which explains the vertiblock system, exactly the dimensions that it would be, the RJM landscaping wall layout with the wetland delineations. We decided when speaking with George Russell, Conservation Commissioner, that we would use wattles instead of the silt to maintain the barriers. So that way they just seem to have more durability than the silt walls. I did look over the special conditions and the ones that were highlighted out for our particular property. So I did speak with the contractor. I plan, if this is approved, providing him with the conditions, either sending it through email so that way I can verify that he is fully aware of the conditions to be able to work on the property. Possibly even sending it through certified mail so that way I know that he did receive it. I know that I do need to notify, I believe, George a week before any of the work begins, along with the home address, the phone number to the business, as well as a home phone number of the person who is in charge of it, which is Rick Miller, I believe. He owns RJM Landscaping, so he'll be overseeing it all. And then also we would set up a date as to when we could meet with George at the property and review everything together to make sure that there's no questions. Everybody understands, what is expected based on the fact that we do have wetlands. There are some trees that would have to be removed by going down the College Highway access point. I know people are probably asking how many trees. There is a good number of them, only because they are very tiny in diameter. It's newer vegetation, I would say. So the number would be between 24 to 48, but I wouldn't even say they're very small in diameter. So that's why I'm giving a large number. Those would be tagged prior to the meeting with myself, the contractor, and George meeting on the property. So that way George could also see what was actually going to take place. For the access way, there would be gravel that would be put down to be able to access because it is a steep decline down.
Sure.
He has to make a switchback to safely access it and go back towards the property where he's working. Their concern was that there may be ledge under there. We're not sure because we did see some signs of it. If there is, that would result in some modification, but none of that would be taking place without authorization through the commission and myself as well, because that's going to cost me extra money. The plan is to also, as I outlined in the project overview, the general description is that there's three smaller retaining walls that were put in by the contractor that also hold up some of the material next to the deck that is on the upper portion of the hillside. And those would have to be replaced. I'm paying all this in cash. So this is going to take me a little bit of time to be able to do that. But the goal is to first do the 120-foot wall to protect our house. Next would be to secure the retaining wall that's already existing near my deck that's about to take my deck out. And then there's two, maybe 3 foot by 2 feet tall retaining walls on the side of my house next to the one of the cracks in the foundation. That would be done. And then installation of a fence so that my children don't fall over the wall. I guess that's all I really have. I'm not sure what else. If you guys have questions, I can try to answer it the best to my knowledge. But I've sought out as many professional individuals as I could just to make sure that I'm doing this the accurate way.
Yeah, well, thank you. That was incredibly detailed.
Oh, well, thank you.
Appreciate appreciate that. I did have a chance to look through this and talk to George briefly about it the other day. I don't have any questions. Does anybody else on the commission?
Yeah, I'm of the same opinion. Things have been thought through. This is a logical plan, and I have no concerns.
Ditto. Thank you for being so thorough.
No, thank you. I have to stress, this is not something I want to do. Unfortunately, it's a necessity. I can't sell the house in my right mind knowing that I would put this on somebody else, and my children don't want to move, and I need to make sure that they have a house that is sound. So I thank you. Especially you, George. Thank you so much for all the information that you've provided me to make sure that I was able to complete this and make sure that it was thorough and I'm following procedure, and just very much appreciated.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, George.
if I may, I think the applicant has presented the application very thoroughly. I would just like to reiterate that I have worked closely with the applicant to get this here. And one of the interesting things about this application is this is not something that the applicant is just doing. This is something so that the house remains livable. It's really a must-do situation. And if the house collapses, we're going to have a far bigger problem in within jurisdiction. I did supply a list of conditions I'd recommend that be attached to the order of conditions, and I will answer any questions the members may have.
Okay, sounds like there's no questions. So I think we can make a motion to close the public portion of this and approve this at the same time.
Yes, you can make a motion to close the hearing and issue the order of conditions with the stipulations outlined as one motion, but the motion to close the hearing has to come, it all has to be together, or you have to separate everything. So yes, you can go with as you suggested.
Okay. Okay. Would anybody like to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing for the property. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I don't have the address in front of me.
186.
186 College Highway.
Okay, sorry about that. 186,
Okay.
186 College Highway.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so Kathleen, you motion to close the public hearing. Scott, Dan, your name is Scott on the thing, so I keep calling you Scott. Dan, you seconded it. So all members in favor, Kathleen,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
and myself, Evan, aye. Okay, so then we just need a motion to approve this with the recommendations that George made. Would anybody like to?
I'll make a motion to approve the NOI for 186 College Highway with the conditions as outlined in the agent's report.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Okay, Nicole, you made a motion to approve. Kathleen to second it. And then all those in favor, Nicole,
Aye.
Kathleen,
Aye.
Dan,
Yep. Aye.
and myself, Evan, aye. Okay, thank you, Nicole.
Thank you so much.
You're all set, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so that concludes the new business portion of the meeting. So now to the regular business that we had, which there were five things. So the two pieces of property that Bridget was going to talk about, so that's York, Whiteley, and Hamel.
If I may, Bridget
Yeah.
had to leave the meeting and asked
Okay.
me to just speak for her. I'm on the lands committee for Kestrel.
Perfect.
So she wanted, I think she sent the Wolcott property CR and wanted to find out if the committee had any comments, and just said if there are comments, if someone could forward those to her. And she also said that for the other two properties, the CR would be coming shortly. The York, Whiteley, and Hamel properties, and would be coming to the Conservation Commission shortly. So she just asked me to pass on that information.
Mark, this is George. I just got that in today, and I did not forward it to the members yet. I would like to read it, and I will be forwarding it to the members, and we'll forward any comments directly to Bridget.
I'll let her know. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Mark. I'll look forward to taking a look at that. Any other questions from commission before we move on? Okay. The other was, I had on here the treasurer's report.
Hi, everyone. I sent the treasurer's report for April, the most updated, to everyone. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look at that. It was just like in a PDF. And I don't know if there's any questions or comments. I'm just seeing. I'm just gonna pick it up.
The only question I had, and I feel like I vaguely remember talking about this, or at least this coming up, the negative balance.
Yeah, you know, I actually don't have really an answer for you. That, like, yeah, what, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't really have an answer for you, except for that's what the town accountant came up with when you ran all the reports before. But I do have the same question, so I would like to address like what to do about that negative amount in that.
Yeah.
I think those were like grant monies, so I don't know if that really affects our budget that much. But you're talking about the 105, right? In the red.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
match phase 2. Yeah. So I'll ask Bradley that because that is a question that I had as well.
Okay.
But yeah, it looks like so George, as George mentioned also in his agent's report, beginning the past couple of months, any revenue has been going to the wetlands protection account. So that's like the legal notice fees, just general, fees for Concom. And so that's why that's in blue. That's my own way of seeing the difference between, deposits and revenue. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Thanks for organizing all of this.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Before we move on to the next item, did anybody else have any questions or comments on the treasurer's report? Okay. All right. So the next item that was on the list was the Red Brook monitoring report. And George, you'd sent an email.
Members of the commission, a couple of years ago, we had a monitoring report conducted on the Red Brook Conservation Restriction Area. And it's very comprehensive. It's done via drone. We get some really good pictures of issues that are happening and where they're located. We didn't do one in 24, but we do have the money to do one in 25, and I'd request the commission's authorization to go ahead and authorize one. I believe I forwarded the cost to the members with my agent's report. It's not going to be that expensive, but it won't be done until the fall when the leaves are off the trees.
Hi. George, would we Hi, George. Would we take that?
Pardon me?
Would we take that monies though to pay for that? Wouldn't that come from the Red Brook Estates monitor?
Yes.
Yeah.
It comes from the Red Brook Estates. We have an account for
Right.
Red Brook Estates.
Quite a bit of money.
Yeah.
And that email you sent with Pete Westover, who agreed to do it in the fall?
Yeah.
Okay. And what sorry, I'm just curious, how much would that cost for the monitoring?
Pardon me?
How much would that service cost? I'm just curious.
I don't have that right in front of me, but I believe it was under 3,000.
Oh, wow. That's like just a drop in the bucket with the amount of money in that Red Brook Estates monitor account.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's plenty in there.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Do we have to
Yeah, yeah, that's a, what
Mr.
is
Chairman,
the,
I request a formal vote from the members to authorize this study.
yeah, just quickly, where is the Red Brook? Or what
Good
is,
question. It's south of Foma Road, Brittany Lane, Catherine,
okay, okay,
okay, and College Highway. It's in
got
there.
it.
It's all developed property,
Okay,
but there is still a lot of vacant land in there. And we do have some interesting issues. For instance, there's a 1953 Buick been sitting in the woods there, and there are trees with about 24-inch diameter growing right up through it, which probably left there when they, got rid of the car in 1954.
okay. Okay, interesting. Hmm.
And actually,
No.
I don't know much about this property either. For those who are not sure of like what is the monitoring all about? Do you have that information, George?
Well, they pick up things.
If I could interrupt, Mr. Chair, would it be helpful if I screen shared the map of this CR while you discuss this?
Um, I think I mean, yeah, George, if you want to keep talking, and Stephen, if while George is talking, you're able to get that up for context. Sure. So George, you were saying that,
Well, some of the things we found besides I apologize for that. Hold on, I gotta get back on.
no, we
Oh,
hear
we
you.
hear you. You're there.
Okay. Um, Besides the Buick that's in the woods, we found there are some encroachment on town property, or rather, encroachment by private landowners into the area of the CR, which they shouldn't have been going. We found some tree cutting that wasn't authorized, and we found the automobile. So it's those type of things we want to keep on top of so that we can prevent any degradation to the area.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Believe I need permission to share screen, but perhaps you're beyond it.
Yeah, I think I mean, it sounds like having, this same the monitoring done by the person that has done this in the past makes sense, and then that gives us an idea on something that we can go on if it just gives us a better view of things. So,
While it's large sum money, I don't disagree, and it's back to you guys.
okay, thank you. Yeah, so I guess we can take a formal vote on this to approve the monitoring report. So would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the fall monitoring of the Red Brook Estates using Pete Westover.
Yeah,
I'll
all I have
second.
to do is authorize authorize the report.
Okay.
Sorry, George, were you correcting the way I made the motion?
I would suggest that the commission authorizes a 2025 report of the Red Brook Conservation Restriction Area.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion to authorize a 2025 monitoring report of the CR on Red Brook Estates.
I'll second that.
Okay, thank you. Kathleen, motion to approve it, and Nicole to second. All right, so all those in favor, Kathleen,
Aye.
Nicole,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
and myself, Evan, aye.
Progress.
Could I make a comment?
Yeah, Mark.
I did the original reports on that property 20 years ago or 15 years ago. There is a turtle wall that's supposed to be maintained behind Brittany. A house is off of Brittany Lane. I don't know if they'll be able to pick that up on the overhead monitoring, just so that people are aware. That's for protection of turtle populations.
Turtle wall. Okay. I might have to Google that one, but that's good to know. Thanks.
Mr. Chairman, I will send out notifications to the property owners within the CR telling them that we're going to be doing the flyover report.
Okay. Thanks, George.
Yep.
Okay. So next on the list was the COC request at 4 Glendale Woods.
Members of the commission, I think it's incredibly ironic, not rare, that the last meeting the commission had, they issued the COC for the very first notice of intent that they granted back in 1973. And this is the second notice of intent the commission ever granted in 1974. There's no jurisdictional areas on the site. It was probably part of the overall subdivision. So I recommended the COC be granted.
Okay. So just to clarify, you're looking for a formal vote
Yes.
tonight?
Formal
Okay.
vote to grant the COC for 2890002.
Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion to grant the COC request at 4 Glendale?
I'll make a motion to grant the COC request for 4 Glendale Woods 2890002.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
All right. Nicole made a motion to approve the COC request, and Kathleen seconded it. All those in favor, Nicole,
Aye.
Kathleen,
Aye.
Dan,
Aye.
and myself, Evan, aye. Okay. And then finally, or almost finally, the approval of funding for the bridge, for the Alice Brown Bridge. I know we've talked about this one in the past and given the okay to pull this together. The total cost was
262087.
2,668. Yeah. Okay. Oh no, 2,000. It's the flurry receipt, right? Or
Yes.
invoice 2006. Sorry, you said it right the first time, and I was looking at the other one. 2,620 and 87 cents.
Yes.
And this is for the bridge that Mark is going to build.
The
Okay.
commission authorized the work. Then Mr. Dory, who was going to do the work with some help, went out and got cost estimates from Flurry Lumber.
Mhm.
We have an account with them. So we wanted to run the final numbers by the members so they could approve it. And then I will go out to Flurry Lumber and authorize it. And everybody can get to work.
Okay. What can you just remind me which account this comes out of?
We have help me out, Kathleen, it's a forestry account, I believe. And it's to be used to do stuff just like this.
Yeah, that's right. The forestry account is sort of used for kind of anything. Is kind of like what Art told me. But it's monies from forest cuttings, town forest cuttings. So
So it's dedicated exactly to doing what this project is.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we need a formal vote on this then?
Yes.
Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion for approving the funding of the Alice Brown Bridge?
I'll make a motion to approve the raised funding for the Alice Brown Bridge using the forestry account.
I'll second that.
Great. Okay, so Kathleen made a motion to approve it with the forestry account and Nicole just seconded it. All those in favor, Kathleen?
Aye.
Nicole?
Aye.
Dan?
Aye.
And myself, Evan, aye. Okay. So then there was two informational items on the agenda, George. One of those was filing fee accounts.
Yes, I'm still working with Bradley and Kathleen. We have two accounts that I think when we only need one. And I'm trying to find out where those accounts originally approved, where they came from, and if we can combine them. I just wanted the members to realize that that's going on behind the scenes, so to speak. It's nothing earth-shattering, nothing the commission has to do at this point, and we won't take any final action until the commission has all the information and authorizes it. The second informational item is strictly to let the commission know that we have established an account with the registrar in Northampton, which means that anytime we have to record something, and I've recorded about 4 things since I've been here, we can charge it, quote unquote, to the Conservation Commission. And it makes doing the process a heck of a lot easier than trying to charge it to somebody else's account, have them get the bill, give it to me, have them pay it. You know, it's anyways, we've just created a registry account.
Great. Making things efficient and moving quickly. Awesome. Okay. And then we still have
Let's accept the minutes.
a couple minutes what is the timeline on accepting minutes?
Ideally, you should do it at the next meeting. But does it have to be done at the next meeting? No.
Okay. It's been what our last meeting was a little while ago, so I'm trying to Dan, you did send us the minutes, Didn't you?
Yeah, I've sent around the drafts of all the minutes. I think there were some comments back that probably need to be addressed.
Okay. So we should get those addressed before we accept them then.
Mhm.
Okay. I can work with you to make sure that we get those in so that we can accept the meetings from the past 2 meetings plus this meeting on the 19th.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other business today that can't wait until the 19th? Great.
So sorry, Evan. So as far as the visit goes to Pomeroy, I understand that we are all going when it's convenient for us and works for John Lumbrough. should we also just kind of like let each other know too, in case it's like maybe the two of us could go at the same time, because then it would be maybe there's not like
Yeah.
4 people in one afternoon, like various time slots. You know, it might be helpful too.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And yes, and I wish I had my schedule figured out, but yeah, maybe I can send an email tomorrow with a couple dates that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
And as long as only a maximum of 3 of us are there at a time, I suppose. So, yeah.
Yeah, there's kind of like a happy medium, right? Like
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And again, I apologize to everyone. I really I had every intention of getting out there today after work before this meeting.
That's okay.
But here we
Sorry.
are. So, okay, then I think we can make a motion to close the meeting. Would anybody like the honors?
I'll make a motion to close the meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, Nicole motioned to close. Kathleen seconded it. Okay, all those in favor? Nicole,
Aye.
Kathleen,
Aye.
Dan,
Yep. Aye.
and myself, Evan, aye.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.